Most scientists agree that climate change is at least partly to blame for the wild weather in 2012, one of the worst years on record, both in lives lost and property destroyed. In the United States alone, we had withering drought, vast wildfires, tornadoes, fierce summer heat, capped off by Superstorm Sandy. And now this past week comes a blast of record Arctic cold. Here's Elaine Quijano.
It was dramatic.
When you look outside, you say the weather's on steroids.
It was historic.
Government scientists said today that they're surprised by a jump in temperature that made 2012 the warmest year on record.
The weather of 2012 broke all sorts of records. First, extreme heat gripped the Midwest in March.
18 significant weather sites in the United States have set their all-time maximum temperatures.
And that led to a summer of costly droughts for farmers and ranchers. Then the West saw the third worst wildfire season ever.
It's probably the greatest natural threat in the last 30, 40 years.
But those events were just a prelude to an autumn of superstorms.
Here's the latest on Isaac. It became a Category 1 hurricane today with winds of 80 miles an hour.
Hurricane Isaac brought back memories of Katrina for residents of Louisiana. And the extremes of 2012 put climate change front and center in Washington this week.
The risk for flooding here may be some of the greatest people have seen in their lifetime.
Scientists say there is more to come.
More wacky weather, more 100-year storms, perhaps. This is the new normal.
For CBS This Morning Saturday, Elaine Quijano, New York.
And joining us now is Jeffrey Kluger, the Time Magazine's senior editor for science and technology. Jeffrey, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
As we look back at the year that was, are we talking about a new normal when it comes to weather, this extreme climate stuff?
Well, certainly the last decade or so suggests that. Of the top 10 warming years on record, 9 have been in the 2000s, and the one that is not in the 2000s is 1998. So this is all part of a cluster of years. The record-setting temperature months around the world have increased 5-fold in the last 40 years. We are now having 5 record-setting months for every 1 we used to have before. And Katrina-type events are turning out to be twice as likely in years with warming as in other years. So there certainly seems to be a link. Keep in mind, 40 years ago, climatologists were telling us that the carbon density in the atmosphere pre-industrial revolution was 280 parts per million. Mm-hmm. They warned us when we get to 350, we'll be in a heck of a lot of trouble. We're now at 394, and all of the dangers, all of the changes that they had been predicting have happened on schedule. We know what the solutions are. We just have to be willing to embrace them. Converting to renewables, wind, solar,